In my opinion, and I need to know this from men, when you get to a place where you feel like I'm out, how can we resuscitate you? How do we resuscitate you when you have checked out, men?
I had a better question. What? How do you know when he says they're done at this point?
I know. So men, help out. How do you stop it from getting there? Ladies want to know this.
Nola Great Nine. Do the things we did in the beginning. That's the thing. Keep dating, keep talking.
I'll tell you why that man is single. He's single because his ex never valued clear communication without games or using his vulnerabilities against him. Trust became an issue because he was lied to and disrespected. He was made to feel like what he did was never good enough because what he did do was never appreciated. Not only was it not appreciated, but it was criticized far too often. And at that time, he thought that he could change a few things to make her happy. But then he found out pretty quickly that there was not enough that he could change to make her happy. Him giving in just became a habit because she wanted to control him rather than love the person that was standing in front of her. Him prioritizing her and doing things for her time and time again became a one-way street. His peace was constantly sacrificed without any sort of reciprocation. So let's be clear, he's not single because something's wrong with him. He's single because he loved and cared for a woman that didn't really love him back because she was just using him.
I do feel like love should be steady and love should be secure. But I also feel like healthy love to me looks like if you don't speak to me, your chest is tight. You're throwing up, your belly hurts. You thought it was the cheese that you had for lunch, but no, it's because we're on bad terms. I don't know. I feel like there's a part of love that is yearning, and that is, I want to speak to her. I want to be with her. I want to breathe her air, not again in like a weird obsessive way, but in like a, I love her and I want to be near her type of way. I don't know, I just feel like that's what's wrong with the young men nowadays. That's why the girlies are single.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
She says, do whatever you want. Do not do whatever you want. That is so clearly not what she said.
So he's supposed to read your mind. If you have to sit there and decode your partner's words because they're not clear, that just proves they can't communicate. We always talk about how women are great communicators, but this isn't the only phrase a lot of women will say. And then you guys wonder why you don't get what you want, when you could just tell him exactly what it is you want from him. Not only that, but you're expecting him to know exactly what would please you the most in that situation and take his best guess, which is unfair to him. Never in a million years would a man do something like that to a woman. And after a while of this, a man will stop trusting your word because he doesn't know if you're playing some weird game underneath it. And for the women that do this, it comes from a place of deep insecurity because you don't want to reveal your hand, because it puts you in a vulnerable position where you could say no. But you also want your man to be vulnerable and open with you, right? These passive-aggressive phrases are extremely harmful to your relationship.
So, my best friend and I were talking the other day, right? She lives 5 hours away, the audacity to move that far away from me. I'm like, I don't think there's any good men left in this world because I can back up a boat trailer, loaded or empty. Y'all know that's two different things. I can polish off a 12-pack. Don't be buying me no beer and showing up with a 6-pack. That's just enough to piss me off. I fry my own chicken. Good kind. I pay my own bills. I take care of my youngin'. And I get up and go to work every day. And I come home and I do it all over again. All these men these days are acting like the women. And all the men these days want everything handed to them. And all the women these days are having to act like the man and hand everything to the man. What the
I have a few questions about this. One made that comment when I responded to this comment, in which I asked what were the specific disadvantages that minorities have that their counterparts do not. One didn't actually answer those questions. Instead, one said this: what exactly about my asking a question And asking for clarification makes me a scary person. I'm still waiting for an answer on that. Not to mention, one also said this about America. What exactly makes America the worst country in the world in so much as that one would never want to live there? I'm curious about that as well. But then there's this, which is the most ironic part of it all. One is actually indicating that oneself is privileged by virtue of what one looks like and how one chooses to identify. So it sounds more like one is trying to justify one's own position and maybe responding these things out of a personal sense of guilt rather than anything else. But it is rather curious, after all, if all of these things that one said about me is true, then why is one following me?
A lot of these men have checked out on dating and checked out on women because women have checked out on them. You said you didn't want a man. You said you didn't want men to be around you. You said that you choose the bear. What do you expect a man to do? Okay, well, go have fun with the bear. I'm going to go to a basketball game. You be safe.
Where are all the good men? Yep, that's the question of the day. Everybody apparently is still wondering, where are all the good men? And here's the thing. If you look back, I posted about this before, but I just want to let you know as an update, the good men are everywhere. They are everywhere, sis. The problem is you either have disqualified them for your own unrealistic, ridiculous requirements, or they have been so scared from accusations, being told that they are harassing, or, you know, thinking that you want them to approach you, but then carrying on like, how dare they find the audacity to approach you? I mean, at this point, they're everywhere and they're never going to speak to you. You have to speak to them first now. So this is what you get. This is what you get when you scare men into believing that they can never be right. They can never win. They don't understand women at all. They can't even pick up cues anymore. This is what you get. You get confusion, and you get an entire generation of men who would rather be by themselves than to risk talking to you.
You know, I see why men are staying single, because look around. We have women out here bragging about not cooking, not cleaning, not taking care of their home, not being soft, and not being supportive. And then expecting a man to show up as a provider, leader, planner, protector, and lover, while giving him absolutely nothing in return. And yes, I will be the one to say it. A home needs a woman who actually enjoys being a woman. A woman who takes pride in making her home feel warm and peaceful. A woman who loves her man in the same way that she wants to be loved. That is not oppression, that is care. Men are tired of being treated like a walking wallet. Tired of disrespect. Tired of begging for affection and a little peace. So, they are choosing to stay single, not because they hate women, but because they are looking for a woman that values her role just as much as his. And honestly, I don't blame them, because relationships only work when both people show up and give.
The bar is actually in for us single women. I went to take my dog out tonight, and I noticed a young man in front of his car, seemingly waiting to pick up a date. So I thought. I got back from taking my dog out. It had been 10 plus minutes at this point, and he was still standing out in front of the car. The whole time I was taking my dog out, I was like, oh my God, chivalry's not dead. What a gentleman. Like, this is why I'm not settling, because that is what every woman deserves, for a man to be waiting to open your car door. Of course, me being nosy, I was like, are you waiting on a first date? And he was like, no, I'm a chauffeur. And I said, oh, I was hoping chivalry wasn't. And he said, but if I were, this is how I would greet her. So yeah, you know what? I'll talk, no action, buddy. But then I watched another grown man hug a woman that he was definitely picking up for a date. And then he proceeded to walk to his own car door and open his door, but not hers. Oh, so the bar is in, because I'm sitting here the whole time. Like, it made my day. I was just sitting there thinking, oh my God, this young man, he's about to open the car door. She's going to be so excited. That is amazing. That is so sweet. Like, everyone deserves that. And then, no, he was just a chauffeur. Oh, also, a man completely opened a door in front of me today, walked through, and let it close on me in Palm Beach. So, yeah.
You know, a lot of these modern women are not getting asked out anymore because asking you out has become a risk and not a reward. If you can imagine that, I know you guys think that y'all are 10 out of 10. I know that you guys see a baddie everywhere you go, but you don't see it from the man's perspective. You ain't a baddie to me. Well, actually, you're a baddie in a bad way. I don't want to be around you.
Should Christians celebrate Christmas? I mean, isn't it a pagan holiday?
Most Christians don't celebrate Christ on Christmas. They celebrate the culture. They put up the tree, the matching pajamas, the Santa movies, the gifts, the vibes, and then they squeeze in Jesus into a 2-hour slot. So here's the real question. Does what you're doing point people to Jesus or to the holiday? If the music, the Santa stuff, the traditions, if all that stuff pulls your heart more to the season than toward the Savior, that's mixture, and mixture always weakens devotion. Listen, Jesus did not come so that you could feel that holiday vibe. He came to save us from sin.
Amen.
Now, there's nothing sinful about winter lights, family time, or giving gifts, but when those things overshadow the King, or when your life looks like the world's December, your message gets blurry. So no, I'm not telling you it's a sin to drink hot cocoa or enjoy winter lights. I'm saying stop mixing it with devotion. Stop calling cultural celebration worship. Stop putting Christ in the same category as Santa, movies, and decoration. Keep your worship pure. Keep your devotion separate. Keep your life set apart. If you want to remember his birth, do it, but do it because of the gospel, not because the calendar says it's Christmas. You don't have to follow every cultural tradition to honor God. Just make sure your life is pointing to Christ, not the culture's version of him.
Feel so bad for men. I'm at the park walking and a woman approaches me. She seemed legitimately concerned about her safety and I'm like freaking out and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to help you out here? You want me to walk with you? You want me to walk you to your car? She brings up how eerie it is that she's alone at the park because there really wasn't that many people here. And then she mentions, I'm seeing these men and I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Like, what do we need to do? She's like casually talking to me and then she kind of walks ahead of me and she's still talking to me and stuff, which is fine. It's like, okay, what do I need to do? And she excuses herself and she's walking ahead of me because she walks really fast. And then she kept mentioning like she was further up the trail and she kept turning around and saying stuff to me like, oh, hopefully some more people will be here soon so we're not here by ourselves and all this stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? Finally, I see the first guy that I've seen this whole time as I've been walking, and he's got his headphones in with his dog, just doing his thing, not bothering anyone. And most of the people I've been seeing here have just been women, you know, walking with their coffees or whatever it is. I mean, it's 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. I'm not saying bad things don't happen at that time, but to be freaking out. And I know some people have been through traumatic experiences and it makes them like this, like extra cautious. I can't imagine being a man and having to, you know, you're just minding your own business, doing your thing, and random people you don't even know treat you like you're a threat or like you're this horrible person. And I know before the ladies come at me, I know we have to be careful. I know that 1% of men might come after us, but this is self-inflicted.
What kind of wife do you want to be? You want to be a stay-at-home wife?
I want to stay at home when my kids are younger, but when they turn 5, I want to go back into the real world.
What do you mean go back into the real world? Go work?
Like, I want to have a career once my kids get a little older. So I want to do something. Right now, I'm working at a financial company, but eventually I want to have my own business, do my own thing.
Based on what I'm hearing, you're going to have a real hard time. You come from a sugar baby lifestyle where you're in control of your own moves. You have a grad degree. It already works against you. And let's be real, you don't want a broke man. You want a man with significant 6 figures. But yet you still want to be able to go out, and after your kids get school age, you want to go be back out. You have a plan you want a man to sit in. You want a wife. You're not trying to be a wife. That ain't gonna work. And you're 27? And you have this background in risky pictures? No, ma'am. You want the benefits of being a traditional feminine woman in a new masculine role. You want a wife. Why do you want your children, once they're school age, for you to go back and start a career? Why do you want to do that? If you already got a husband that can take care of everything, why do you want to do that?
Well, it depends. If I have a husband who can really, really take care of me and the kids, and I don't need to work.
Why would you marry a man who can't do that and give him kids?
No, I said if I find a man who can do that, I will not need to go back to work, but I don't want to give up everything, all my power.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Thank you. You want a fool.
No, I just want things on my term.
That's right. You want things on your term. And guess what? If you could have things on your term, you would have had it already.
And a lot of these women, even though they be flat out lying, I don't know where any good men are. He's right in front of you. I mean, literally past him. These guys be standing in front of you or behind you in the coffee shop in line waiting to get their coffee. But y'all don't think because they're not exciting enough and because they're quote unquote boring to you that this is the man that you want. That'll be your business.
Men used to really yearn for women. You used to get in a fight with a man and he would be outside your house with a boombox in the rain, singing his mother heart out, begging for you back, as he should, right? As a real man would. Now you get in a fight with a man, he's texting you, I bet. Now he's matching your energy like he's a mother girl. And you know why? It's because you guys let these men dog walk you in relationships and they know they can spin the block whenever because they know your program is far from strict. They could up and then text you, what are you doing? And you're gonna fold. You're gonna text them back and you think you're doing something by waiting a few hours or a day to respond to their message, but you're still responding. You're still taking them back after they treat you like. And that's why men don't yearn for women no more, because it's just too easy out here. It's too much access. It's too much accessibility. And it stresses me the out. Y'all need to get way more strict with these men. Like, the first time they move funny, move out the mother way, right? Make them big. Oh my God, please, I'll never do it again. Y'all don't even scare these men anymore because within 48 hours, they're back in your bed. Back in your mother bed after they just exchanged bodily fluids with somebody else. Yeah, that's why men aren't yearning for women no more. So please do your part. Put down the juice and let's bring back making these men work to be with us, because loose boundaries won't get you anything but a loser man. Okay?
You got engaged twice and you still ain't getting married.
Would you let a woman control you?
What you mean? She probably want to control you. She just kept telling you, I'm not with that.
Would you let a woman control you?
Ooh.
You.
No, but I will let a woman have a say-so.
But you won't let her control you?
What you mean, if it helps better me?
So you would let a woman control you?
Not controlling, she can have a say-so. That is some type of control.
Over you.
There's a difference.
She can have a say-so over you?
No. She can have a say-so. This is called respect. And I respect her opinion because if it's right, then I'm going to take in heed and bring it into my life. If your wife was to say something and be like, no, baby, you don't need to do that. You need to do that. She's not controlling you. She's just saying this is something that can better you. And if you're naive enough to not listen to your wife, then that's your dumb.
Oh, you know what I love about that video?
What you got?
That interviewer wanted to walk DC Young Fly so bad into saying, no, I'm not going to let her control me. When the truth is that in order to be successful in any kind of relationship, ultimately, there has to be a say-so on both parts.
Right.
Because people want to feel seen, heard, and acknowledged. And it's not a level of control, it's a level of compromise, because two are truly becoming one, which means the dynamic and the shape has to change. And the question is, are you okay with that level of change? That ultimately, when it comes to dating, you gotta be willing to compromise. Not compromise on your needs, but we can compromise on our wants.
100%. Like, you know, when you're with a partner, your idea there is to build that partnership, right?
Yeah.
So you're learning about that person, you're learning about yourself more, and you would prefer the person to also give you what you need and want.
Yeah.
So why not vice versa?
Yes.
Right? Unless you're narcissistic or something.
And they out there.
I was in the smoking area last night and my friend goes to me, I feel like creepy because I like the look of someone. Like, he didn't even try to talk to her. he just felt like a creep for even wanting to. And I think this big age of like anti-men, but not all men, and this like, it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend vogue. The men can see it, you know. Like, as someone that sometimes dates men, I do not want it to get to a point where men are afraid the good ones. My friend's a good one. Men are afraid to even speak to you. Like, can't we just make an agreement as femmes, as women? Like, sometimes men will talk to us. Because what else do we expect? Like, because if you stop all of them, like, stopping the bad ones, true, yeah, great, good. But you're also stopping the good ones. And then where do we go? Do we have to talk to them? Because I'm not doing that. I'm not chasing a man. Come to me. I'll make the decision. Like, you can just brush off the, like, slightly uncomfortable ones. And obviously there's, like, levels to it. But, like, now I'm hearing people are even scared to even breathe in her direction. And I know there's some ladies in the back going, like, yes, as he should be. But, like, come on. Like, what do we expect? What, like, we need to find some middle ground here, because it's getting impossible out here. And, like, where do we go from here? What do we expect them to do? Hello, can we have a meeting, please? Like,
a lot of these men are opting out because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Modern women are not the women that they used to be. And it is not worth it for me to continue to try to pursue something that I know I'm going to put money into, I know I'm going to put love into, I know I'm going to put energy into, and all of that is going to get me in divorce court with more than half of my assets taken away from me.
There are no good men anymore. But let's really think about that for a second. Look at the men our mothers and grandmothers married. I'm just gonna have to say this out loud, because the more I talk about being single and happy, the more I see people saying dating is terrible now, men don't want a commitment, dating apps make it easier for men to ghost, they are emotionally immature, unavailable, there are no good men anymore, and on and on. And I get it, but let's really think about that for a second. Look at the men our mothers and grandmothers married. A lot of them, not all of them, okay? Don't come for me. The majority were controlling, emotionally unavailable, cheaters, liars, manipulators, narcissists, drunks, and got married anyway. Shoot, most of you are still married to them, living unhappily ever after, or divorced from them by now. Thank you, Jesus. So is dating really worse now? Or are we just seeing the truth earlier? Because now, these dudes are showing you exactly who they are, whether from an app or in person, and they are doing it before you commit to something long-term or even marry them. So instead of seeing that as a problem, I see that as a blessing, because what is the alternative? Honestly, that you ignore the red flags, that you rush into a relationship, you waste years on them, as we love to put it, or worse, you marry someone just to not be alone, or because it's what is next or what is expected, like our mothers did. And now you're stuck in something that sucks the life right out of you. So no, I don't see this as there are no good men left. Has dating as we know it changed? 100%, starting with the dating apps. But I see it as you have more awareness around it. They are showing you exactly who they are very early on and basically who they've been. And you have more choice now. And you have all the power to walk away and avoid being miserable. So instead of stressing out about how bad it is out there, if you're single, use this time to build a life you actually love, where you are choosing yourself. And if you want to go date, but go do it with your standards set fucking high. Set your boundaries far and wide so you can weed out the bad ones. There's good ones out there, I'm sure of it. You just got to be more selective and stop crying about the ones who ghosted you.
There is a Facebook post that is currently going viral on TikTok and Twitter for its absolutely wild take on first dates. Here's a list of places women absolutely refuse to go on a first date to, and thank you to the ladies who reached out to me to help me on my list. Okay, first of all, stop generalizing, because you're gonna see this list, you're gonna see how ridiculous it is. Not all women subscribe to this ideology. Please do not generalize. I do not want to be in this group. Anyway, let's just go through the list. Number 1, Cheesecake Factory. I didn't know there was a problem with Cheesecake Factory. I personally love Cheesecake Factory. Number 2, Applebee's. Number 3, Chili's. Number 4, Chipotle. Number 5, Olive Garden. Number 6, the movies. I actually agree with that one, but not because it's like below me, but just because you can't get to know a person by going to the movies. 7, your house. 8, any fast food chain. 9, Buffalo Wild Wings. 10, Wingstop. 11, Red Lobster. 12, a buffet. Everybody loves a Chinese buffet. There's nothing wrong with that. 13, IHOP. 14, Denny's. 15, the gym. 16, church. 17, Starbucks. 18, coffee dates. Not just Starbucks, just any coffee date. 19, ice cream dates. 20, family functions. 21, movie nights. 22, somewhere that requires a long drive. So if you want to go see a nice sunset, a nice viewpoint, nope, that's out of bounds. Not allowed anymore. 23, bowling. 24, nightclubs. 25, hookah bar. 26, a bar just for drinks. 27, Waffle House. 28, sports events. What options are left?
When do we get to the ride?
This is the ride!
Yippee! You've literally removed every single option, every quintessential traditional first date. Done. Not allowed anymore. Like, the only thing that's left is like Gordon Ramsay's private restaurant and a helicopter ride through the city. Like, come on.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
I understand a couple of these. Like, I personally would not want to go to a hookah bar. Not on a first date, not on any date. I would also say maybe don't go to a guy's house if you do not know him. That's probably not smart. Maybe not do that one. But bowling and coffee dates and church, those are incredible options. Ice cream dates. What is wrong with an ice cream date? I love ice cream. If you are a girl and you do not like ice cream dates, you've got your head screwed on wrong because they are adorable. Somebody commented and said, dates are about getting to know each other, not about how much money a person spent on you. Y'all folks are getting more lost in the sauce by the day. Also, just going out for dinner gets boring. What if I had nothing to talk about? What if it was terrible and then you were just sitting there like, oh, should I order dessert? I really want to get out of here, but I don't want to be rude. You don't want to be in that situation. That's why coffee dates are great for first dates. What you can actually look for is somebody who treats you with kindness and respect, who is dating you with intention, who shows up to your dates dressed nicely, with his hair combed, with a smile on his face, who has a plan for the date, whatever it may be, whether it's bowling or ice cream or coffee, which are all acceptable options, sports events, going to a bar and having a drink, all completely acceptable and wonderful.
A lot of these modern women out here be laughing at men and how they approach, how they dress and all that other stuff. And you laugh at a man when he's trying to get at you, when he's being serious. You're laughing at him, you're making fun of him, and then when he stops, then all of a sudden you're crying. All of a sudden you're whining. All of a sudden, oh, the guys don't have the, they really don't have the courage that they used to back in the old days. Men used to go to war.
Working for the NHS has restored my faith in love, and it has restored my faith in men. I've been a doctor for nearly 10 years, and I can honestly tell you there are some incredible men out there. Don't believe everything that you see on social media, ladies. I did a post before where I said about how illness can really show the strength of a relationship, and I've seen both sides, and I can honestly tell you there are men out there who will literally, they will do everything for their women. I have seen the most incredible love stories. I have honestly witnessed it. Like, there's been patients who have gone over and beyond for their women. Like, I remember there was a guy who literally, he refused to be admitted into hospital even though he was really unwell. Why? Because his wife had dementia and he was the only person that she would recognize. So he refused to be admitted to hospital. He said, no way, because who's going to look after my wife? She doesn't know anybody else. I don't want to leave her. He was 90 something, right? And he was more sick than her, but he didn't want to leave her. I've had stories of women who've been admitted into hospital and their husbands would literally refuse for anybody to do any of the washing, any of the labor, anything. They wanted to do it themselves. They would wash and they would clean their wives. And I've seen multiple cases of this, by the way. I remember there was this one guy, he was admitted to hospital against his will. He really didn't want to go in, but his children convinced him to go in because he was really unwell and he needed looking after. So he was admitted to hospital and he didn't want to leave his wife at home. So luckily for him, which is quite unlucky for her, she became unwell as well during their separation time period, and she needed to be admitted, so she was in the ward down below. Now, prior to her being admitted, we needed to put a security guard because he would often try to run away from the ward so he can go home. There were times where we literally had to get security guards out looking for him because he was constantly trying to leave the ward, right? Because he wanted to go find his wife. And when she was finally admitted in the ward downstairs, at least then we had something to say to him. Like, we'll take you to go see your wife if you eat your breakfast. We'll take you to go see your wife if you have your medication. And then they would be together and they would literally spend the whole time together. It was such a nuisance to arrange, but it was the most incredible love story. Like, all of us, we were all smitten by their love story, right? I've seen men look after their wives after they've given birth with such care, with no, like, they've not been disgusted, they've looked after, they've washed their woman, they didn't give a crap, right? I'm not gonna lie, there is a lot of rubbish men out there. There is a lot of people out there who are super selfish, both men and both women. There's a lot of rubbish people out there who will not do anything. They won't even urinate on you if you were burning. But don't give up hope, ladies. There are incredible men out there, and I see it every single day. I see men who are incredible fathers. I see men who are incredible sons. I see men who are incredible husbands and partners. So yes, there is a lot of negativity, but there is also so much positivity. So don't lose hope in finding the most incredible man, and do not lower your standards just because you think that there is nobody else out there for you.
Have you ever noticed that some men never seem to chase women, no matter how interested they are? It's like they have this invisible rule that keeps them holding back. Today, we're diving into the psychology of men who don't chase women and why it's not what most people think. They value independence over validation. These men have learned early that their worth isn't defined by attention from others. Psychology calls this self-determination theory, the idea that people feel most fulfilled when they rely on themselves. Chasing someone feels like giving away their power. They'd rather wait, observe, and only invest energy where it truly matters. Emotional intelligence over impulsive desire. Men who don't chase often have high emotional intelligence. They can read moods, intentions, and boundaries. Instead of acting on fleeting attraction, they pause, evaluate, and respond thoughtfully. That patience makes them magnetic, even if they seem detached at first. They understand scarcity and social value. Here's a secret: people naturally want what seems scarce. Men who don't chase leverage this instinct unconsciously. They understand reciprocity. The more you pursue, the less you're valued. By holding back, they let attraction develop naturally. They've experienced past disappointments. Many of these men have learned from heartbreak. Over time, they associate chasing with rejection or imbalance. This is partly a cognitive bias called loss aversion. The brain prioritizes avoiding pain over seeking pleasure, so they approach relationships cautiously, choosing quality over quantity. They are comfortable with solitude. Psychologists link this to introversion and self-reliance. These men don't need external validation to feel complete. Being alone doesn't scare them, it empowers them. And paradoxically, this confidence often draws others towards them, even when they don't try. They focus on long-term compatibility rather than short-term attraction. They look for emotional alignment. This aligns with emotional intelligence and self-awareness. They know what they need and won't settle for less. Chasing someone who doesn't fit their values feels pointless. They are aware of social dynamics. Some men understand a social comparison theory. They notice how people react, who invests effort, and who maintains balance. By staying calm and observing, they avoid unnecessary drama and ensure they only engage with those who truly match their energy. They unconsciously test for genuine interest. Finally, these men often give subtle signals instead of overt pursuit. It's a psychological tactic. If someone is genuinely interested, they'll step forward. If not, energy isn't wasted. This preserves both emotional energy and self-respect. The takeaway? Men who don't chase aren't disinterested or cold. They're strategic, self-aware, and emotionally independent. They value themselves enough to wait, reflect, and connect authentically. If you found this relatable or learned something new, hit subscribe. More videos like this break down the hidden patterns of human behavior so you understand yourself and the people around you, one psychology insight at a time.
These modern women don't really see anything other than their perspective. Why won't men ask me out? Why does he stare and not approach? Well, he stares because he thinks that you're pretty. but he don't approach because he don't want to end up on TikTok. You haven't given him any clear signs to say, hey, I can be trusted. I am a trustworthy person. So he just says, oh, she's cute. Let me go back to drinking my drink and eating my food, and I'm gonna call it a night.